list item automatically puts a number right next to it, depending on how you set up the CSS. Meaning you could also change with CSS, you can change it to A, B, C, D, or lowercase Roman numerals, etc. So is everyone doing okay? Am I going too fast? Okay, perfect. And right now we're also going to change the unordered list, where we have the paragraphs where it says red, blue, green, yellow, into an unordered list. And then what we want to do again is to delete those dashes right before the red, blue, green, and yellow. Because automatically, a UL by default puts a disk or a bullet. And I see some of you guys still working, so we're going to give you about a minute. If we still need more time, then we can take as long as we need. And again, once we have it in an unordered list and an ordered list, it's a lot easier for screen readers to read and hear. Yep. So Jeff, can you go ahead and play it?
Nice. 100%. No next heading at level 2 in this section. Blank. Heading level 1 my sample page. List heading level 2. Ordered list heading level 3.
Read from here.
Heading level 3 ordered list. Here is an ordered list about how to cook pasta : list of 5 items. 1. Fill a pot 2/3 of the way with water. 2. Place the pot on the stove and set the heat to high. Period.
How much easier that is?
And so it helps a lot, again, in order to go through the document for a screen reader. And does anyone need more time correcting their document? Perfect. So the next thing we're going to go to is tables. Tables is a very complicated thing for some people, because a lot of times you hear the thing that a lot of people are using tables for style. And as we could hear the Subway was actually organized in a table. And the biggest problem with organizing your website in a table is it's very hard for a screen reader to kind of see where the information is organized. If you don't use headers, it might be hard for someone to hear a list of navigation or hear a list of content. So we prefer, in a dream world, for everyone to have a non-table for style website. So what we're going to walk through is how to add captions, table headers, and header scopes in order to help for accessibility. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the document to see what it sounds like without the use of any of those three things.
List head tables heading level 2. Blank. Here is a table example : blank. Table with 3 columns and 5 rows. Table with 3 columns and 5 rows. Name, age, birthday: Jackie, 5 April 5th, birth date January 14th, Mary.
See, the idea is that the farther you get down in the table, it might become more and more difficult to understand exactly where you are in terms of where the data is. What a screen reader can do is I can have it tell me what cell I'm in and everything about it.
Column 1, row 4, Mary.
But without headers, I don't know what Mary means.
Now visually we can organize the information, but it might be a lot harder for screen readers. And like Jeff said, if I was in Susie, I don't know that that's related to name, or I might not be able to associate October 7th with Susie and birthday. So when we add captions and table headers and scopes, that allows us to associate the data sound-wise. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to add a caption to the table. Basically what a caption is a summary of what the data holds. And you want to make it, just a basic summary saying, this is a table of my friends' birthdays. And a good way that you could use this is like in a syllabus, if we have a table of grades, I I want to know ahead of time, this is associated with grades for the course, as opposed to hearing a bunch of information and not knowing what it's related to. And once you add the caption, it will appear directly over the table.
My SAM 100.
And so as you can see, it directly added it to the center right above the table. So it's basically a quick summary saying, hey guys, just so you know, the things you're about to hear is a table of my friends' birthdays. So I'll give you about 2 more seconds to add the caption just in case. Now, the next thing we want to do is actually create table headers. The headers will actually be able to associate the table data below it to sort of say, just so you know, anything under this table header of name is associated with this table data. So the first thing that you can see is that the TD or the table data doesn't say TH. So right now the screen readers can't associate that with the correct row. So what we're going to do is we're going to change TDs to THs. And again, that's just letting the screen reader know that this is the table header. And by default, some of the browsers will actually make that bold and centered for you. And a lot of people like to associate table headers with style, but there's other ways that you can stylize something without using the table header tag. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to add a scope. And what the scope does is everything underneath that column or row is related to that table data beneath it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add something called scope equals and then column. Again, col is associated with column and row is associated with row. So right now, if we visually go back to the document, you'll see the changes that happened now that we applied the table headers and the scopes. As you can see, it bolded it, and that, sometimes is a default thing for each browser. It might be different. But visually, now it helps us associate the information. If maybe you have cognitive problems, it might not be easy to associate that information. So it's not just screen readers. It's important for many different types of people, including me. If I'm going through all this information, I might not see immediately name, age, and birthday. Now I can. And so go ahead and replay the table, and we're going to hear how it sounds.
Another wonderful thing about semantics is that if I wanted to, I can navigate straight to an element.
A table of my friends' birthdays, column 1, row 1, name, age, birthday, Jackie, 5, April 5th, Beth, 8, January 14th.
Now if I have it tell me everything it knows about this cell,
Column 3, row 3, birthday, Beth, January 14th.
it's a lot easier to understand.
And so did everyone have enough time to correct the table? Okay, awesome. So the next thing we're going to get into is links. And I mentioned this earlier with headers. Screen readers can also navigate an entire page via links. And another thing is if you have no use of a mouse, you also can navigate via your keyboard via links, as you know when you use tab. So the major problem with the screen readers and links is if you have a link that says, click here to access our contact page. If click here is a link, when we're jumping down, the only thing we hear is click here. So if your links are constantly click here, all we hear is click here, click here, click here, click here. Click here for what? So what we're trying to, instill today is maybe you should change the links into a more descriptive link text. So instead of saying click here and that's it, you should probably say contact us, or products, or visit Google. Whatever that data or information that you're trying to convey to them to that link, that's what we want to try to get in that text. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly change the link to a more descriptive link text. Right now, the link says, click here to go to an awesome search engine. Now, I have no idea what that search engine is just by looking at that. So what we're going to try to change it to is visit Google to go to an awesome search engine. Not only does that visually help us say, okay, we're obviously going to Google. Maybe some people think Yahoo is the most awesome search engine or Bing, but the most awesome search engine, in my opinion. So again, we immediately tell people visually that Google is where we're going. People get excited about Google. So all we did is we quickly changed click here to visit Google. So that way, when we're now jumping to links, we hear products, services, contact us, visit Google. Very simple, and it's a very quick change, and it helps everyone, screen readers and us alike. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to change images. Now, did everyone have enough time to change the link? Okay, perfect. So with images, one of the things that I found out was interesting, if you have no alt text for an image, the image is not read out to a screen reader. So say your page is filled with images, which mine is. I have a lot of pictures of my friends. I have pictures of like my cats, the cat person. If a screen reader went to my site, they would hear absolutely nothing. They might hear the heading images, but they won't get to hear the images of my cats, which is very important to me. So the one thing that we want to do is we want to add alt text. And alt text simply notifies the screen reader what that picture could possibly be. So you can be as descriptive as my cat Susie, or my cat George, or my tabby, my Persian. We want to be as descriptive as possible. You don't want to maybe add adjectives, because a lovely picture of my cat may not be as obvious as a picture or Susie, a portrait of Susie. So what we're doing is, to the image, we're going to actually add an alt text. And what I want you to hear, first of all, is what happens when we go to this site and we're trying with the screen reader or JAWS to listen to the picture of the tree.
Land. This is an example image : land. Designed by link no.
Did you notice that it skipped the image? While it did read out the text, this is an example image, it didn't notify us that there was even an image there. It just simply skipped it because there was no alt text. Again, this is very important if you have any sort of images in your site. And I'm guessing 9 times out of 10 you will have some sort of image on your site. So what we're going to do is we're going to add alt text for this image. And so we're being descriptive as possible. We're saying a tree on a hill. This allows them, again, an example image of a tree on a hill. And different screen readers read out different things. Sometimes it will say image of or graphic of. So sometimes you might not always want to say in your alt text an image of a tree, because it will read out to the screen reader graphic of a tree on a hill. So we're going to go ahead and read that back out to kind of show you what I was talking about.
Like 100. Land. This is an example image : land. Graphic a tree on the hill.
So I read out that it was a graphic of a tree on a hill. Again, adding just that, 4 words help the screen reader know that there's a picture of a tree on a hill. And another thing that's really nice about alt text is if for some reason you're on a very slow computer and it doesn't have time to load, certain browsers actually display the alt text for you. Or sometimes if the link is broken, it will display that image instead, or that text instead. So again, it helps everyone. So the next thing we're actually going to cover, we don't have it here, but I'm just going to briefly talk about videos. A lot of people, like me, have a lot of YouTube videos. We like to create YouTube videos, and a lot of you might be in the video industry. One of the things that we just want to briefly cover is that we're trying to get more into people trying to use closed captions. Closed captions, as you might think of, is just the subtitles at the bottom of the screen. So if you're hard of hearing, or you're deaf, or maybe you don't even have the use of your headphones. I know when I'm in class, if I have to quickly, catch up on something, if I can't understand or hear the video, I would want the closed captions to say, just so you know, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about this in class. That helps a lot, especially for me, because I'm actually slightly deaf in my left ear. So it's actually really hard for me to hear a video, regardless of the sound. So closed captions is something that I wish a lot of you guys can do. We actually provided a link to some free software that actually lets you create closed captions. And closed captions can be as easy as just following through with the person talking and just writing down what they say. Another thing is that we actually have something called audio descriptions. And what audio descriptions is just that. For a screen reader, if they're